Thank you. Good evening, students. How are you all doing today? Seeing a lot of people coming in, even on a Sunday. Could be going out, but you're all part of this study. So it only shows your dedication towards the course and how important you are associating for the subject. So this is a very good indication that you are on your right path. Even on a Sunday, you're being part of the classes and on a Sunday evening. So this is a way how this CA curriculum is, that your dedication is all it is dependent on. So it's not just that you study on one day and don't study for 2 days. From my experience of the CA course, continuous persistent dedication is required, right? So keep going again keep doing your study again and again, because unlike other like our graduations, which is in a different manner, wherein you can just read 1 or 2 days before the exams and just be away with it. But in professional courses, not only CA, I would say any other professional course also. I have done my CS, I've done my law also. So there I feel that dedication and persistence is required. What do I mean by that? That just one time reading of any subject is not sufficient. You need to have in-depth analysis. So your in-depth analysis comes only when you have practical exposure. But at this level, practical exposure we don't get, right? Because we need to make our theoretical knowledge very strong. So you'll have to go to a theoretical knowledge to the extent that if a practical situation comes up, are you geared up? Okay, if you are not geared up, it means that you need to read and revise again and again. Okay, so please read again and again the same subject unless you are completely confident that any question comes up, you are ready to answer. Because the CA exams gives you on your practical knowledge also. So how would you face a situation? So they will mostly give you case studies saying, if this is a situation, what will you do? So when you read it, you don't have to read it just for the purpose of writing the exam. You have to think beyond, and then you read it. That is when you will get a better grasp of the subject. That's how I've been doing. At least for some taxation subjects, we can definitely think of practical situations and apply it. There are other subjects like costing, wherein that requires a lot of practice. So for each subject, you'll have to have a different pattern and way of studying. For taxation, read it as though you are going to give a practical solution tomorrow to somebody. So then you will read it in detail in for pros and cons of one answer, what you give, whether your answer is correct, what are the steps involved. All of those things you keep in mind and then read the subject. Yes, you have to get an edge. That is what is expected from professionals passing out, that you need to get an edge. And thank you everyone for joining again. And thank you, Sushil Kumar, that yes, I have just joined on a Sunday, but you have joined, so many of you all have joined on a Sunday. That is really remarkable. Okay. So today being Sunday, I would not like to take uh, too much of your time. So we'll try to close it at 8:30 so that it's not too heavy for you. Even though the topic, what is being given for today is a little heavy topic, but we'll try to give practical scenarios, because once we see the practical examples, I think we will understand the importance of these sections and the relevance of these sections. Okay. Yeah, some people are saying that how do I download the BEAR Act? Okay, so you can go to this portal called as CBIC, okay, and then download it from there. There you have a section of BEAR law. From there you can download it. taxinformation.cbic.gov.in. That is a place where the act, rules, notifications of various indirect taxes are there. I'll repeat the website name again, taxinformation.cbic.gov.in. Under that, you have GST, Customs, Central Excise, separate tabs. Go to the GST tab and select the act. From there, you can download the GST law. And I think the material of charge of GST is not uploaded. I will share that today, and I will ensure that before tomorrow's class, it will be uploaded on the portal. So if one question has more than one answer, then will ICAI all possible answer, or will suggest answer is only expected? So if for one question, if it is it's like a optional, it's a MCQ question, then only one answer. If it's an objective type answer, then various answers are possible, and how you reason it, that is also important. Might be the conclusion what you're drawing is different. So it's not like fixed wordings is given to the examiner and see if that if this wordings are there in the paper, you give the full marks. That is not how it works. It also depends on what is your understanding to the question and to the concept. So if that understanding is appearing from what you're writing, then I think the marks are still given for that, even though your answer is not completely right. For this examination thing, Ms. Shefali is part of the Board of Studies. So tomorrow she will be there at 8 o'clock to ask you some MCQ questions. So if you have some questions pertaining to examination, you can ask her. So she will be in a position to answer in detail. Okay, so let's get into the today's topic. But today's topic is a new topic, I would say. Why is it a new topic? Because until the last session, last attempt of November 23, we had GST, but we didn't have anything of place of supply. And this topic of place of supply was only there for the final. It was not there for the inter level, but now they have brought in at the inter level. So it means it's a new topic, so that the examiners also would like to explore more questions on this. So this is a very detailed topic, and it requires a lot of knowledge on various things, various definitions, and then we can understand this. So I will not bore you with many definitions. Definitions are there in the chapter. Wherever you have any confusion, go through the definition, and if there's any query, we can take it up tomorrow. But today we'll understand the concept of place of supply and what is the place of supply rules for goods, what is the place of supply rules for services. We will understand that. Wherever required, we will get in the important definitions. Now, before we get into this, we have discussed in the last class what are the aspects to determine whether the supply is interstate or intrastate. What are the factors? Could be 3, 4, 5. We've discussed in the previous class, and generally also as a GST student, you should know what are the concepts, what are the pointers which are relevant to determine what is an intrastate and what is an interstate supply. Okay, in the meantime, there's a question of Bhavika Kumari. Explain marginal supply for composition scheme for goods. I'll explain you in brief. You will understand this. So in composition scheme, we had discussed that you can only deal in goods. You cannot deal in services, right, Bhavika? So if you're dealing only in goods and not in services, you are eligible for composition. But is it possible that you don't deal in marginally? Marginal means little bit in services. Like I'm a trader of air conditioner and somebody says me to the installation. So can I reject it? It's not possible, no, because somebody, a customer buying the air conditioner, he will also wants me to install it. So that's why he will tell do some installation services. So to that extent, I will have to do some services also. That's when the composition scheme gives a leeway of giving a leeway of terms of some supply of services which I can do, which is you'll have to compute last year's turnover into 10% or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. To that extent, I can do supply of services and I will not come out of this composition scheme. Because in composition scheme, there is another condition that if you make any interstate supply, then you are out of the composition. So if I do any services also, I'll become out. I'll have to forcefully come out of the composition. So that's why to give this that, okay, some kind of services also will be done by composition dealers. They've said we will give you little bit leeway saying up to this percentage of services you can do. So they will have to do services to the extent of 10% of the turnover of previous year or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. That is the marginal supply for composition scheme for goods. Okay. So I'm getting answers for my question. Buyer and seller should be registered in same state. Those are the answers, what I'm seeing. Within the state or interstate, yeah, that is the output. But how do we determine what is within the state or with outside the state? 4 important factors: taxable event, tax rate, collection, or levy, person who has to pay. Nagaraju, you understood it well, but that's not the answer for my question. Those 4 factors are relevant for the levy. Okay. Now we are discussing what are the factors to decide in case of a supply, what are the relevant supply, whether it is an interstate supply or interstate supply. For that, what are the factors? Good try, but yes. If supplier is in different state, that to the recipient who is paying, then that is interstate and IGST is levied. That's right, Rito, but how do you decide this? Between same state, intrastate, and different state, interstate, that's the definition. So determine this, what do you do? Place of supply. Just because the topic is place of supply, you can't say that. There are 2 factors. There are 2 factors. Many people have given the correct answer. Where the supply is consumed. Okay. Yes. So all of this put together, place of supplier, place of buyer, various factors are there. But the 2 factors which are relevant is, we had discussed through a chart, if you remember, there are 2 factors. One is location of supplier and place of supply, not the location of recipient. The 2 factors which are relevant is location of supplier and place of supply. If these 2 factors, even if the location of recipient is somewhere else, doesn't matter. The 2 factors, keep this in mind. If the location of supplier and place of supply are in the same state, then it is an intrastate supply. And if the location of supplier and place of supply are in 2 different states, then it is an interstate supply. And when it is an interstate supply, we know that we will charge IGST. When it is an intrastate supply, we will charge CGST and SGST, right? So location of supplier and place of supply is what we will discuss in this chapter. Firstly, we'll discuss the place of supply, and then we will discuss the location of supplier. Now, before understanding this, let us understand the basic concepts. So GST is always called as a consumption-based tax. It means if a state, say a production state, say Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, let's take an example of Maharashtra. It's a production state. There are a lot of factories in Maharashtra. They produce a lot of goods and they sell it in another state. From Maharashtra, it is sold to Kerala. So which state should get the tax? In pre-GST, Maharashtra used to get the tax because Maharashtra, the factory located in Maharashtra is producing the goods. Excise duty is on manufacture. It used to be paid in Maharashtra, and VAT also used to get collected in Maharashtra itself. Okay. So that was the origin-based taxation. Pre-GST, the taxation was mostly origin-based taxation with respect to excise and VAT. But once GST came in, it became a consumption-based tax, which means for the same transaction of manufacture and sale by a industrialist in Maharashtra, when he sells the goods to Kerala, the taxation will be collected by Kerala. Okay, or it has to indirectly go to Kerala because GST is a consumption based tax. So when it is a consumption based tax, the taxes will go to that state where it is being consumed. Okay, so even though Maharashtra is selling it, they will collect the taxes from the seller because seller is our original from where the government collects the tax, and he will charge IGST. And when he makes a IGST supply, he will mention that he have to mention the state. He will mention that the state where I am selling to is Kerala. So the taxes which is getting collected on sale goes to the state of Kerala. So that is how the consumption works. And even that is how the consumption works. And even in a normal scenario, when you see a manufacturer sells goods and he charges GST and gives it to a distributor. Distributor will, a manufacturer will charge GST in his invoice. A distributor will take credit of this. So manufacturer, if it's in state A, they don't get anything. At the initial stage, they get it, but this they have to pass it as on a credit to the distributor. Distributor, when he sells it, again, he will have to pass on the credit. So once you keep passing on the credit, okay, this is called as a credit chain. As and when you pass on the credit, your taxes is not remaining with you. It's getting passed. Ultimately, the final consumer, when he's buying from a retailer, when he buys it, he will not claim the credit. That is when the taxes is getting to the government's pocket. Okay, that is when the taxes are getting to the government's pocket. So that's why it is a consumption based tax. Before consumption, this chain is the input tax credit chain. The ultimate benefit is not given because it is a consumption based tax. जो कंज्यूम करेगा उस स्टेट को टैक्स मिलेगा. उसके पहले जो भी सीरीज ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस है सब क्रेडिट पास ऑन करने के लिए है. ठीक है, किसी को उसका बेनिफिट तो अल्टीमेटली नहीं मिल रहा क्योंकि जीएसटी कंजम्पशन बेस्ड टैक्स है. ओके, सो when it is a consumption based tax, we should always know that place of supply is determined with that logic. Key taxation should go to the consuming state. Okay, production and consumption. Production may state will collect it and still pass it on to the consuming state. Okay. Sir, union territory में UTGST and SCGST charge होगा ना? Correct. If it is state, SGST and CGST. If it is UTGST, UTGST and CGST. So this is how the taxation background works. ठीक है, अगर ये हम समझ लेंगे तो फिर हमको प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई समझने के लिए इजी हो जाएगा. Because there are varied rules, but ultimately it will fall down to consumption. That's where this place of supply will be there. मैन्युफैक्चरर जो टैक्स पे करेगा उसकी स्टेट को जाएगा, उसके स्टेट को तो जाएगा लेकिन वो उसके खाते में नहीं रहेगा बिकॉज वो जो कलेक्ट कर रहा है वो स्टेट अपने पास कितने दिन रखेगा? थोड़े दिन के लिए रखेगा बिकॉज ये जो है वो टैक्स जो पे कर रहा है गवर्नमेंट को वो क्रेडिट के थ्रू पे कर रहा है और ये जो टैक्स वो पे कर रहा है वो फिर किसी और को क्रेडिट भी देगा ना, तो गवर्नमेंट को क्रेडिट भी पास ऑन करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, सो इसीलिए जो भी गवर्नमेंट को जीएसटी रिटर्न्स में टैक्स मिलता है दैट इज नॉट इट्स ओन फुल टैक्स एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, उसको फिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना पड़ता है. जैसे कि मैंने जीएसटी रिटर्न्स मेरी जमा कर दी, दैट बिकम्स अ क्रेडिट टू समबडी एल्स, तो वो बैक एंड में क्रेडिट के थ्रू किसी और स्टेट को पास ऑन तो करना ही पड़ेगा. ठीक है, now let us understand the various important concepts. First is B2B supply and B2C supply. What is a B2B supply or a business to business transaction? Is in such type of transaction, the recipient is also a registered person and hence he is eligible to take the input tax credit. जब मैं I am registered, I sell it, and I pass it on. I sell it to a registered dealer. Okay, when I sell it to a registered dealer who is registered under GST, this is called as B2B transaction, matlab business to business transaction, wherein I am also registered, he is also registered. It is a B2B transaction. But when I sell it to a consumer who is not registered under GST, this is called as a B2C transaction. Okay, so B2B and B2C transaction. In such type of transactions, the recipient is consumer or is unregistered, and hence he cannot take the credit. So when I say refer in my discussions on a B2B transaction, it means from one registered person to another registered person, I am selling it. And in case of a B2C transaction, I am registered and the consumer is unregistered. Okay. What happens if I make or determine wrong place of supply? So two factors, the location of supplier and place of supply is important. We started off. Now, location of supplier, if I am in Karnataka, I am selling some goods. Then the location of supplier is where I am situated because I am registered in Karnataka. And if I'm selling to somebody in Kolkata, should I go there and register and then sell it? Not necessary. Because I can sell from here itself. I will sell to a buyer in Kolkata. I will take his GST number, charge him integrated GST because location of supply is Karnataka, place of supply is in Kolkata. When I do that, I will charge IGST. If I mistakenly don't charge IGST in the invoice and charge CGST and SGST, then what will happen? भाविका, yes, प्रोड्यूसर का टैक्स कंज्यूमर स्टेट को ट्रांसफर होगा, yes, वो ही ट्रांसफर होगा बिकॉज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ आईजीएसटी वही उसी चीज के लिए जब मैं आईजीएसटी चार्ज करता हूँ वो तो कहने के लिए टैक्स है बट इट इज अ बैक एंड सिस्टम टू मूव टैक्सेस फ्रॉम द प्रोडक्शन स्टेज टू अ कंज्यूमिंग स्टेज. तो यहां से वहां वो ट्रांसफर आईजीएसटी के थ्रू ट्रांसफर हो रहा है. Registered to registered is B2B, correct? Registered to unregistered is B2C. Okay. Reissue correct invoice. तो पुराना invoice को मैं tamper करूं? That's not possible because I've already issued an invoice with CGST and SGST. And I know that I should have, अभी मेरे को पता चला है after raising an invoice that it should be an IGST transaction. जो भी amendments है वो आपके amendment session में लिए जाएंगे. that amendments जो है एक अलग ही आपके बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज के इसमें भी लिखा हुआ है व्हाट आर द अमेंडमेंट्स दैट यू कैन रीड नाउ इटसेल्फ. Tax refund service consumer is also registered in board. Okay, so various answers I'm getting, but what happens, the importance of correct determination is that if the location of supplier and place of supply is IGST, is an interstate transaction, then the taxes to be paid is IGST itself. And if I make a wrong payment, then I'll have to make the correct payment of IGST, which now in the initial invoice I have raised CGST and SGST, I have remitted that to the government. So I have to make the correct payment of IGST and take a refund of this wrong tax. I cannot adjust the CGST, SGST with the IGST. So this option of correcting or the option of moving or shifting, saying that tax to tax ही है, उसमें क्या है? No, that is not possible. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So the option of payment of correct tax is a different process. I have to make the payment of correct tax and claim back the refund of the wrong tax. there is a specific provision which says that since you have paid the wrong tax, now you don't have to pay the interest for the delay in paying the correct tax because you have paid some taxes to the government. So on this, actually, any delay in payment, you have to make an interest payment. So this delay in interest payment, delay in correct payment of taxes, you don't have to pay interest, but you have to make the correct payment. And on wrong payment, what you have done, you have to claim back the refund. So now we understood what is B2B and B2C. Now we will understand what is the place of supply of goods. There are two things. One is place of supply of goods and place of supply of services. Now we will discuss what is the place of supply of goods, and then we will discuss what is the place of supply for services. Place of supply of goods is given in section 10 of your IGST Act. Okay, section 10 is the relevant section which decides what is the place of supply of goods. The location of supplier is always the place where a person is registered or where the goods origins. Yeah. Now, to decide this, there are various sub clauses. Okay. Where the rules to provide the 10 subsections, 10 subsection provides the rules to decide the place of supply of goods. First is where the supply involves movement of goods. Second is where there is a bill to or ship to transaction. Third is where the supply is not involving movement of goods. First is where the supply involves movement of goods. Third situation is supply not involving movement of goods. Then a case where goods are assembled or installed at the site at where your work is carrying on. And fifth case is when goods are supplied on board a conveyance. So these are the 5 situations which have been discussed in detail. We will go through in detail in these 5 points and understand what is the place of supply. ठीक है, तो हम ये जानेंगे कि place of supply of goods क्या है इन 5 तरह में, 5 तरह की कंडीशनों में. इसमें सब तरह के मूवमेंट कवर हो जाएंगे, सब तरह के सिचुएशंस कवर हो जाते हैं. First situation is section 10(1)(a) for the place of supply of goods, which says that where the supply involving movement of goods. Now, there are separate transactions. We'll start with the first transaction, wherein supply involving movement of goods. I am a dealer. I am dealing in papers. I have to sell to a consumer, right? I have to sell to my retailer. Let's take it to a retailer. When I have to sell it to a retailer, I am a manufacturer. I have to sell to a retailer. When I sell to a retailer, I have to move the goods, right? So this, for this supply to get completed, it involves movement of goods. Now the movement could be from the supplier's end or the receiver's end, anybody. But per se, the supply involves movement of goods. When the supply involves movement of goods, 10(1)(a) says the place of supply. What is the place of supply? The place of supply is location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates, or terminates matlab ends, for delivery to the recipient. Okay. This is the verbatim wording of the section itself, which is presented in an understandable manner. Where the supply involves movement of goods, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminate for delivery to the recipient. So what does it say is when the supply involves movement of goods, okay, where the supply involves movement of goods. Jैसे example of the paper rim I have told, it involves movement of goods. So when it involves movement, I will have to move it from my place to the consumer's place. Now, if I move it through a truck, it involves movement. Now, where the truck lands for delivery, okay, lands for delivery to the consumer, that is the place of supply of goods. Okay, that is the place of supply. So when I'm selling it to my customer, who is a retailer in this case, the retailer's factory is the place where it is will be treated as place of supply. Now, if the dealer, the retailer is located in another state, then it is an interstate supply because the place of supply is in different state. If he's in the same state, then it is an intrastate supply. So this is a case where, or any kind of supply which involves movement of goods, this is the criteria. So can you give one example to clear the concept? I've given the example. Any other example you need? So GST is paid when transaction is done or aggregate turnover. Good question. GST is not paid per transaction, saying that I have moved one good, so I will pay GST. It is not a case of clearance that once I get my goods cleared, I have to pay. It is accumulation. Okay. It is a self-assessment and accumulation wherein whatever transactions I do for a period, typically a period is a month. So if I do a transaction for 1 month, all the supplies which I have made in this month, I have to accumulate it and file a return for this month by the 20th of the subsequent month. So if I'm doing any sales in February, all of this February sales, I will add it up and include it in the return of February, which I will file on the 20th of March. Is this place of supply already discussed in supply chapter? I am not sure. Abdul, please clarify whether the place of supply is discussed completely in supply chapter itself. Another question is manufacturer is in Karnataka, distributor is in Tamil Nadu, and consumer is in Kerala. In this case, what to do? So from a manufacturer's perspective, he doesn't know where the consumer is. For him, he is selling it to a distributor. So if a manufacturer is in Karnataka and distributor is in Tamil Nadu, it is in two different states. So he will charge IGST. Then when the Tamil Nadu distributor sells it to his customer in Kerala, then he will charge IGST from Tamil Nadu to Kerala. So there are two transactions. So two separate GST. So GST is on my transaction, not on other person's transaction. This is from which act? This is from IGST Act. So we are discussing on CGST Act, but CGST, SGST Act generally. But in the place of supply, CGST Act itself refers to IGST Act. Okay, there is a provision in the CGST section in the CGST Act which says that the place of supply shall be determined as decided in the IGST Act. So we have to refer to the IGST Act. There is a reference in CGST Act and the respective state SGST Act which gives reference to the IGST Act. So we have to refer to the concepts of place of supply from the IGST Act. Okay. So understood this, where the supply involves movement, then it is where the goods are being moved to. अगर आउट स्टेशन से कोई आके आपके स्टेट में खरीद रहा है, so then the place of supply for you is in Maharashtra itself. From Maharashtra, you're selling to somebody who's in other state. Then for you, it is Maharashtra itself because he is not disclosing his transaction. If he comes here and he does not have a registration and you charge CGST and SGST, it's a loss for him. So he will take the goods from your location and use it in his state, and he will move the goods to his state. So it is an IGST transaction. correct? Another example is a dealer in Maharashtra sells refrigerator to a dealer in Ahmedabad for delivery at place of business in Ahmedabad. So in that case, the place of supply is Ahmedabad itself. So that is how the place of supply is decided. So what if manufacturer is in Mumbai and the recipient is in Delhi and the consumer of the recipient is in Mumbai and the recipient tells that 50% supply is to made to a consumer and 50% to Delhi? Mayur, very good question. The answer for this is in the next slide, wherein we will discuss on this. In my example, if supplier and buyer are both in same state, yes, and goods delivery is in different state, now seller should charge CGST and SGST, but goods moving out of the states. So if I am moving the goods from one state to another state, then it is a interstate transaction. But when the consumer is moving it to another state, okay, and he is informing me that it is a movement outside the state, then I will charge IGST. But if he is not telling me anything, he's just buying it at my factory place, saying that you give me the goods at your factory place, I will take it. In that case, I will charge CGST and SGST because for me, the information available at the time of raising invoice is that this is a intrastate transaction. If transaction between two different states, but the place of supply is in same state, then how can there be that it will be a place of supply in the same state? Can't be so, because say you are in Maharashtra, I am in Karnataka. I am registered in Karnataka and the seller is in Maharashtra. So if I visit Maharashtra and buy some goods, okay, will I not give him my Karnataka's registration number? If I don't give him the Karnataka's registration number, then he will assume that I am come to Maharashtra and I am using it there. The loss is for me, for the consumer, because if I don't give him my GST number of Karnataka, I cannot claim the credit because I don't have any registration in Maharashtra. If I'm visiting Maharashtra, doesn't mean that I have to take registration there. I can visit it, select the products, test it, and then get it moved to Karnataka. So this is still movement of goods. The concept, what I'm trying to say is, the main thing is where the supply involves movement of goods. The movement can be made by the supplier or by the receiver. Seller can move the goods or buyer can move the goods. Whoever moves the goods, I go there, I select it, I buy it, and I move it the goods to Bangalore. So it involves movement of goods, where the supply involves movement of goods. The place of supply is the delivery where the delivery is completed. It is the delivery is getting completed in Karnataka. So it is an interstate movement. The place of supply is in Karnataka. Okay. So place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of when the movement of goods terminates for delivery. Now let's move to the second question. A lot of questions on this are coming up. Place of supply of goods under 10(1)(b), where the supply involves bill to ship to transaction. That is where I say that you bill to one state and ship to another state. Okay. Let's then the place of supply shall be the principal place of the business of the third person. Now, what is this third person and all becomes complicated. Let's understand this with an example. Ganesh Traders is the seller and Maruti Traders in Karnataka is the buyer. Okay. Ganesh Traders is in Maharashtra. Maruti Traders is in Karnataka. Maruti Traders places an order for delivery of the goods. This is the first thing which happens. First, I will place the order, right? So Maruti Traders places an order. Okay. Now he is ready. He will ship the goods. So when I am selling it, when I am placing an order, he will sell generally to me, he will deliver to me. So he's ready. Before he starts moving the goods, I tell him, wait, this don't deliver the goods to me. I have to deliver the goods anyways to Tamil Nadu, my customer. So you deliver the goods directly to my buyer in Tamil Nadu. So he will deliver the goods to Tamil Nadu. But he and Tamil Nadu are not related. We said in first condition where the goods involve movement of goods, where it is getting terminated, that is the place of supply. So if I apply that logic, place of supply will become Tamil Nadu, correct? If I apply strictly 10(1)(a), then the place of supply becomes Tamil Nadu because that is where the goods are getting delivered, termination of the delivery. But 10(1)(b) says, no, boss, wait. When the goods are supplied to another state on the instruction of this third person, okay, on this person's instructions, when the goods move from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, even though the goods are getting delivered to Tamil Nadu, he will bill to me, right? So the place of supply is this, that is, which is giving you the instructions to move the goods. Since Karnataka, the main person is giving you the instructions to deliver the goods, you have to treat the transaction as the location of supplier is in Maharashtra and place of supply is in Karnataka. This is the place of supply, not the actual delivery of the goods. So this is a bill to ship to transaction. You're billing to me and shipping to him. So when you're doing a bill to and ship to transaction, billing to which entity, that is the place of supply. Okay. So bill to and ship to, this is a transaction. Now there are two transactions because of this, because bill to ship to generally involves two transactions. You will bill to me and ship to him. Fine. Now I have to bill to Tamil Nadu because I have delivered the goods, right? Which I have not billed, and neither this Ganesh Traders has billed because Ganesh Traders is billing to me. This is the fourth transaction which I have to bill. And again, these are in different states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Location of supply is Karnataka. Place of supply is in Tamil Nadu. So I have to do a IGST transaction again from Karnataka. For first transaction from Maharashtra to Karnataka, location of supplier is in Maharashtra and place of supply is in Karnataka, two different states, intra-state supply. Second transactions, Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, two different states, location of supplier is in Karnataka, place of supply is in Tamil Nadu, again two different states, intra-state transaction, interstate transaction. So IGST again in this. Okay. Now let's pickle this example little bit. Then I'll take all your questions. Ganesh Traders is again in Maharashtra and Maruti Traders now also is in Maharashtra, right? First is order to deliver goods. Okay, within the state, he's telling me I will deliver it. So generally in a general transaction, I will ship it to Maruti Traders. But Maruti Traders again said, no, boss, always is used to doing some gochu. Whenever I deliver the goods, he will tell, no, don't deliver to me. So this time before delivering only, I asked him, I am moving the goods. Now should I deliver it to you or to somebody else? As usual, he said, no, don't deliver it to me. I found one other customer in Karnataka. Now you deliver the goods to him. Okay. So I will charge you extra delivery charges because I have to deliver to you means I charge 500 rupees. Now Karnataka, I will charge you 3,000 rupees. No problem. Charge me 3,000 extra. So agreed. Now Ganesh Traders ka lorry will go from Maharashtra to Karnataka. Okay. So I have to generally charge IGST because goods are moving from one state to another state. But 10(1)(b) says bill to ship to transaction is the place of supply is where I am billing to. I am billing to Maruti Traders who is in Maharashtra, even though goods are going in another state, but billing is within the state. I have to charge. It is an intra-state supply. CGST and SGST is to be charged, even though movement of goods is to Karnataka. And for the second transaction, Maruti traders will bill to Karnataka IGST because it is an interstate transaction. This is the concept of bill to ship to. So where the goods are delivered by the supplier to the recipient at the instruction of a third person. Third person here is the buyer, is in our case Maruti traders. Where the goods are delivered by the supplier to the recipient at the instruction of the third person, the place of supply is the principal place of business of such third person and not of the actual recipient. Again, one example here, XYZ based in Mumbai places an order on ABC in Delhi for supply of goods. ABC is the seller, XYZ is in Mumbai, who's the buyer. ABC is not having the said goods in stock. ABC in turn places an order on PQR based again in Delhi to supply the goods directly to XYZ. Now XYZ will receive the goods from PQR, but the amount is to be paid to ABC. So in this case, again, location of supplier and place of supply. ABC will bill to XYZ interstate. Okay. And PQR, who's placed in Delhi, he will bill it to ABC because ABC is telling PQR to bill it. He will again bill CGST and SGST itself. Okay. Now all your queries. Aisha, your query is answered. What amount the tax will be levied on total 100% or 50% only? Now, in your example, that 50% is going to one state and 50% is going to another state, right? Mayur, on your question, 50% is going to one state, 50% is going to another state. So on 50%, you'll see the transaction, it is an IGST transaction on that. And on another 50%, it will be an intrastate supply. Yes, Anmol, place of supply is from where the order comes. He is the recipient. You're right. Maruti trader is a deemed receiver. You're right. As per case one, if Tamil Nadu recipient is in Maharashtra and seller is in Karnataka, then the GST levy will be same. That is covered in the second thing. ममता, अगर सप्लायर सिर्फ बायर को चार्ज करेगा तो सीजीएसटी एसडी चार्ज करेगा, करेक्ट. लेकिन बायर फिर से जिसको गुड्स मिला है उसको तो सप्लाई बिल रेज करना पड़ेगा, करेक्ट. जो बायर है फर्स्ट ट्रांजैक्शन में वो रेज करेगा सेकेंड ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए. Payment is receivable will be the place of supply. No, we can't say that because payment can come from anybody. Mitesh, so it is not the payment criteria. It is the person on whose instructions we are supplying. Because payment can come from any fourth person also. So we cannot say the fourth person becomes the recipient. Recipient payment will not be the determining criteria in this case. The order from whom, the person who is placing the order on the us, that is the place of supply. Priya Goswami, place of supply is where goods deliver. That is in normal cases. That is in normal cases. But in bill to ship to, the law itself says that the goods delivery is not the place of supply. But to bill to 100% बनना पड़ेगा तो 100% IGST लगेगा. Yes, अगर 100% bill कर रहे हैं तो फिर 100%. So delivery आपका in your case it is delivery to another person. Yeah, in that case 100% to Delhi itself. You're right. So your question is, sir, what if manufacturer is in Mumbai and recipient is in Delhi, and the consumer of the recipient is in Mumbai, and the recipient tells 50% supply to be made to consumer and 50% Delhi? Yes. So in that case, he will charge 100% from Mumbai to Delhi, IGST itself. Riya, what is your confusion, or anybody who's still having any confusion? Supplier and shipping place are in same state. Shipping place are in same state, and buyer is in different state. Then IGST will be charged by the supplier, and buyer will again charge IGST from where it is shipped. You're right. That's correct. So in this question, if consumer PQR tells to supplier to supply goods to him and bill to ABC. Okay. So in your thing, you're saying in this question, if consumer, who is the consumer? PQR is based in Delhi to supply the goods. Now PQR tells to supplier. No, XYZ is not a supplier. XYZ is a receiver. Okay, XYZ is a receiver. So understand the scenario in this example. XYZ is the consumer. He says that I want to buy. He goes to ABC, who's in Delhi. Now ABC does not have the goods. So ABC places an order on PQR, who's again in Delhi. PQR, he says PQR to supply the goods to XYZ. So PQR will deliver the goods to Mumbai, but he will bill to ABC, and ABC is in Delhi, so he will charge CGST and SGST. Which sales bill will be carried out by transporter. So in case of bill to ship to transaction, the transporter will carry the actual bill. In the bill, when we go to the billing format, the format says that you have to mention bill to and ship to transaction. You have to mention the bill to and ship to address. So it will be bill to state X, ship to the actual place. For the ship to transaction, I will also give something called as an e-way bill. In e-way bill, location of supplier and the place of delivery I'll mention. So based on the place of delivery, the goods will move to that state. The transporter will carry the e-way bill, which will mention the actual location the state where it is getting delivered, and the location of supplier will be mentioned in that case. Clear with this concept? This is a new concept, so should be clear with this before we proceed further. ABC will charge IGST to XYZ. You're correct. Okay. Bill to ship to example, explain me one more. I'll explain this again here. Okay. Understand this clearly once again. So Ganesh Traders is the seller and Maruti Traders is the buyer. This is the scenario one. All other scenarios you forget, they will come in. But Maruti Traders want to buy some goods from Ganesh Traders. Both of them are in Maharashtra. Okay. So when it is in Maharashtra, we know that it is a intrastate supply because goods will move, and the billing is the location of supplier is in Maharashtra and place of supply also is in Maharashtra. So when the location of supplier and place of supply is in same state, it is an intrastate transaction. CGST plus SGST will be levied, right? So he will place an order. Maruti Traders is placing an order on Ganesh Traders. Okay. So Maruti is once he places an order. ठीक है, अभी मैं हिंदी में समझाता हूँ because I think all queries are coming from WRC और CRC. So Maruti Traders जब ऑर्डर प्लेस करता है गणेश ट्रेडर्स पे, तो गणेश ट्रेडर्स गुड्स रेडी करता है, रेडी करके डिलीवरी के लिए शुरू करता है. जब डिलीवरी करने के लिए शुरू करता है, तो वो उसको फोन करता है कि मैं आपके यहाँ पे डिलीवर कर रहा हूँ, आपका गेट खुला रखिए. तो मारुति ट्रेडर्स बोलता है मेरा गेट बंद है क्योंकि वो गुड्स मुझे नहीं चाहिए, वो गुड्स मेरे कस्टमर जो कर्नाटका में है उसको चाहिए, आप उसको डिलीवर कर दीजिए. सो गणेश ट्रेडर्स गुड्स को कर्नाटका डिलीवर करता है. सो हमने देखा कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वो है जहां पे गुड्स टर्मिनेशन होंगे, मतलब ये लॉरी जहां पे खत्म होगी डिलीवरी के लिए, वो मेरा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है ऑन क्राइटेरिया नंबर 10(1)(a). लेकिन 10(1)(b) बताता है कि आप ये डिलीवरी जो गुड्स मूव कर रहे हैं किसके आदेश पे कर रहे हैं। आप कर रहे हैं मारुति ट्रेडर्स पे, क्योंकि आपका और प्राइम ट्रेडर्स जो डिलीवरी एड्रेस है उसका आपसे कुछ लेना देना नहीं है। अगर आप प्राइम ट्रेडर्स को सप्लाई भी करोगे तो पैसे उसका जवाबदारी नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑर्डर मारुति ट्रेडर्स है, पैसे आपको मारुति ट्रेडर्स की ही जवाबदारी है। ठीक है, तो आपको ऑर्डर मिल रहा है मारुति ट्रेडर्स से, तो आपका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है मारुति ट्रेडर्स का लोकेशन, जो महाराष्ट्र के अंदर ही है। आपको सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करना पड़ेगा, और जो डिलीवरी है वो हम नहीं देखेंगे, क्योंकि डिलीवरी हो रही है इंस्ट्रक्शंस ऑफ मारुति ट्रेडर्स पे। तो इसीलिए इस सेल ट्रांजैक्शन पे बिल यहाँ पे हो रहा है और शिप यहाँ पे होता है। ठीक है, ये एस शिप हो गया, ये बी हो गया बिलिंग। जो जहां पे मैं बिल करता हूं वो लोकेशन है मेरा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, इसीलिए यहाँ पे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई मारुति ट्रेडर्स है। जब ये प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है तो मैं सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करूंगा और आईजीएसटी चार्ज नहीं करूंगा। लेकिन प्राइम ट्रेडर्स को गुड्स मिले हैं, किसके थ्रू मिले हैं? मारुति ट्रेडर्स के कहने पे। तो मारुति ट्रेडर्स एक और बिल रेज करेगा प्राइम ट्रेडर्स पे, जो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई होगा मारुति ट्रेडर्स, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई प्राइम हार्डवेयर। ये हो जाएगा आईजीएसटी ट्रांजैक्शन, बिकॉज लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर एंड प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर एंड प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई दो अलग अलग स्टेट में है, तो इसीलिए इसके ऊपर आईजीएसटी लगेगी। क्लियर? सर, इफ मारुति ट्रेडर्स told Ganesh traders to billing to Karnataka, nahin, it is not possible, because then what is the role of Maruti traders? It has to bill to Maruti traders itself. Place of supply is where the instruction comes. You can say that, yes, to understand it. How do we know it's 10(1)(a) and 10(1)(b)? If it is two parties, it is 10(1)(a). If it is three parties, it is 10(1)(b). Correct. So everybody is giving your conclusions, which is exactly the same what is mentioned here. So you are understanding it in your own word base, right? So let's move to, once we've understood bill to ship to transactions. So generally 10(1)(a) says where I am delivering the goods. In case of movement of goods, that is the place of supply. And in case of bill to ship to transaction, it's the location where I'm billing it to is the place of supply. Simple. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Place of supply of goods in 10(1)(c), where the supply is not involving movement of goods. एक तरह का देख लिया जब मूवमेंट हो रहा है, सेकेंड देख लिया जब मूवमेंट हो रहा है लेकिन तीन पार्टी लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं। नाउ अभी थर्ड ट्रांजैक्शन इज वेयर गुड्स इज नॉट इन्वॉल्विंग मूवमेंट। मतलब क्या हो सकता है ऐसा चीज जहाँ पे मूवमेंट नहीं हो? वेयर कुड बी अ ट्रांजैक्शन देयर देयर इज नो मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स? कैन देयर बी एनी सच सिचुएशंस? The GST law has come after lot of analysis and understanding of the previous acts. Under the VAT Act, before VAT, there was Sales Tax Act. So they have seen what are all the situations, and then this law is framed. Any transaction should not get missed out. That's why they have identified various transactions for a simple sale of goods, and then they have come up. So what could be a transaction of not involving movement of goods, where the goods are leased goods, wherein I am into the business of, hire purchase, leasing transactions. I am giving my machinery on lease. I have given to a buyer or a lease on a lease to a trader. Now he is using it, or I'm into leasing of machineries and I've given to a customer. Now this customer is giving me the lease payments. After the lease term gets over, I want to sell the machinery to him. Okay. And I don't want him to return back the machinery. So this machinery is already with him. He has to only pay me now the value of the machinery. So the goods are already at his location, so there is no movement of such goods. So this is an example of supplying not involving movement of goods. Okay, where the goods are already with the customer for whatever reasons, and he does not have to return to me because it is a supply, because I've sold now to him, right? So there is no supply involved. Second could be wherein I am going to buy a new office. Now, in this office, when I came, this was already used by another chartered accountant. Now he had fixed lightings, air conditioners, and certain furnitures. Now, in such situation, is there any movement of goods? The goods are already there at the premises. So there it does not involve movement of goods. So there could be various situations like that where supply does not involve movement of goods. In such case, what happens? The place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Now, in the case of lease, the buyer who is was giving me the lease, now he's the buyer. Now, since that is already there is in in his location, that becomes the place of supply. And in my example of purchase of air conditioner, it is already there at this premises. So that is the place of supply. Clear? It's very simple. In this case, where the supply does not involve movement of goods, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery, because that where the goods are actually located for delivery, that becomes the place of supply. Or anyone sold his whole godown with goods? Possible. Okay. Lease won't be considered a supply. Lease, Man Lodari, very good question. Lease is a service. You're right. Leasing is a service. So I am giving you a service to him, right? For a period of 12 months, I was giving on lease. Now I was collecting this as a service. Now, once the lease gets terminated, once the lease gets completed, he has to return back the original goods. Now, the first transaction of lease is complete. The second transaction of returning the goods, when it starts, the lessee says that I want to buy the goods, and lessor is ready to sell the goods. So in such transaction, it is a transaction of goods. So when this is a transaction of goods and the goods are already existing, then it is a supply of goods, right? So in that situation, place of supply will be the place where the goods are the goods are the machinery is already located. Selling of flats by contractor, no, it will not come under this category, because selling of flats is construction service. So construction service is a service, that is not goods, that will not come under this discussion. Delivery means constructive delivery. Yes, it could be constructive delivery also, but mostly it is actual delivery. Or in this third scenario, where the goods are already existing, it is a deemed delivery. So it is an actual delivery in certain situation and deemed delivery in some situations. If a registered person is in Haryana, is given order to dealer in Maharashtra, but delivery get in go down in Haryana. Okay. So the dealer in Haryana who is getting order from Maharashtra, and he is delivering it in Haryana itself. So the person who is selling in Haryana, he will charge IGST to Maharashtra person, even though the movement is within the state. But since I am selling it to Maharashtra Philo, so my sales invoice will be to Maharashtra person. It will be interstate supply. Clear, Vaishali? Whether this is applicable only in leasing in different states? No, it is applicable in various situations. And any situation. So because the law has to decide and to give a traces where will be the place of supply in such situations. That's why this law, the section is framed that where the supply involves movement, then you see where it is getting delivered. Where the supply does not involve movement, you see where the goods are located. So the place of supply has to be boiled down, has to be located. That's where this has been located here. Not involving movement means movable and immovable property, not immovable property, because on immovable property is basically land, right? On land, there is no GST. Land is excluded under Schedule 3. So land is out of GST. So we are only talking of movable goods. What is the effect of 10C in car case leasing in same state? In case of same state, then CGST, SGST has to be paid. Some examples of what 10C, 1C, I've given the examples that when I have given goods on lease and the goods are already there with the lessee. So in a lease transaction, when I charge lease, it's a supply of service, but we are talking of supply of goods. So when the lease periods get over and the goods have to be returned back, this is an example of a goods where supply is not involving movement of goods because the goods are already existing at the customer's place. And second example is where I buy a office and that's a office buying is a rental transaction. That's a separate transaction. But in that office, I'm already having some furnitures. Furnitures are movable goods. Air conditioner is a movable goods. On that sale of goods, again, what will be applicable is this. So where the goods are already existing and the supply is not involving movement, then this is again another example of supply not involving movement of goods. The place of supply will be in case of a purchase of an office where the furniture is already located. So I am registered in Tamil Nadu. I am coming to Bangalore to set up a new office. Okay. I am not having any office now. I have not taken registration. So I am exploring. So the landlord says that buy these furnitures. So when he sells these furnitures to me, even though I am taking it the delivery near itself, the location of supplier, my landlord's location is in Karnataka. Place of supply will not be Tamil Nadu. Place of supply will be the location of the goods at the delivery. Since it is also in this office in Karnataka itself, the place of supply is in Karnataka only. So doesn't decide that it's not decided where I am registered. It is decided where the furniture is located, where the movement of goods is not involving. Okay, let's get into the next aspect of supply involving installation or assembly of goods. Okay, where a assembly or installation service is required. Okay, then the place of supply is the place of such installation or assembly. Okay, so where I am selling a lift. Okay, Kone elevators. Understand this example. Kone elevators is a lift company. Now this lift company, when a builder goes and buys this lift, the seller is Kone elevators. Kone elevators is in the state of, say he is in Karnataka. Now the builder is in Maharashtra. Maharashtra fellow comes to Karnataka, tells him install this in Maharashtra. So I will go to the site in Maharashtra and install it over there because it involves installation. I cannot sell him the lift as such. So the place where the place of supply is the place of such installations. If I install it in Maharashtra, that is the place of supply. Very simple. Or any kind of installation which I do, huge machineries which have to be installed. Windmills, good example, that windmills has to be installed by the seller. So when the seller goes to the site Okay, now when the buyer is the buyers and seller could be in the same state, but the installation happens in some other state, because in the city I cannot install a windmill. I have to go to a place where there's sufficient wind there. So at that place where I install, that is the place of supply. Clear? Then 10.1e. 10.1e says the place of supply of goods where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance, including a vessel, aircraft, train, or a motorcycle. What is a conveyance? General meaning of conveyance is the process. Conveyance means the process of transporting or carrying someone or something from one place to another place. Conveyance is the process of transporting. Okay. So any kind of vehicles, any kind of movement, any kind of channel which I use for moving of goods is a conveyance. So it could be a flight, it could be a ship, it could be a car, it could be a motorcycle, anything. Now, what is the saying is when goods are supplied on board a conveyance. When I take up a flight from Karnataka to Jammu Kashmir, ओके, रास्ते में चाय ले लो, चाय ले लो, चाय ले लो, ये ट्रेन में बोलते हैं, लेकिन फ्लाइट में भी अच्छी तरह से बोलते हैं. They'll tell it in a better manner. Sir, do you want a tea? ठीक है, एयर होस्टर्स चाय ले लो बोलती है, अपने लैंग्वेज में अलग तरह से बोलती है. जब वो फ्लाइट उड़ रहा है, रास्ते में आएगा महाराष्ट्र, फिर आएगा दिल्ली, फिर आएगा जम्मू. तो जब वो एयर होस्टर्स चाय बेचती है और मैं पीता हूँ, जब वो ऑर्डर देता हूँ महाराष्ट्र पे, और पीता हूँ जब दिल्ली पहुंचती है तब, तो उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल इट बी इन महाराष्ट्र, विल इट बी इन दिल्ली? तो ऐसे एक एक चाय का लोकेशन, टू फाइंड आउट ईच लोकेशन of the consumption on board a conveyance becomes tough. That's why the place of supply for such goods shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board. The place of supply shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board. जो चाय का कंजम्पशन था, चाय तो चाय का डब्बा वगैरह, when the flight started from Bangalore itself, it was loaded. So the place of supply is Bangalore, because you cannot fight in Maharashtra saying that no, at my geographical location it was consumed, or Delhi will tell no, it was consumed there, or Jammu will say no, it was consumed here. So to avoid this confusion, the place of supply of any goods, when goods are supplied on board. So when goods are supplied on, not services. Services के लिए it's a separate section. When goods are supplied on board, chai consumption or lot of things they sell these days online on the flight itself, right? Any goods which they sell on board a conveyance, could be an aircraft, could be a vessel, could be a cruise, could be a ship, could be a train also. Okay, when anything is being sold on the way in a conveyance where the goods are onboarded. Okay, if the flight is landing at say Delhi and then it goes to Jammu and they load something at Delhi, then the place of supply is Delhi. Okay, so the place where the goods are onboarded is the place of supply. Okay, so that covers the place of supply of goods. So if there are any queries on 10.1a to E, can please ask. Domino's giving delivery on train. Yes, good example. So where they're giving you the delivery, where they're selling it to you. So if you want to book it at any station, they will give you at that station. So that is the place of supply. The builder is in Maharashtra and lift dealer is in Karnataka, and builder wants to install it Karnataka, then CGST is GST. Correct. That's right. Good. Clear, Somesh. Very nice. In 10.1e, always is GST are tracked. 10.1e, the location of supplier. So if a supplier is in another state and he is onboarding it in another state, then it could be IGST. Onboard means where the goods loaded, right? Where the goods are loaded. That's right. Okay. So we'll move to place of supply of services. Now, after 10, there is a gap 11. What happened to 11, sir? So the IGST Act, which is saying on place of supply, it starts with section 10 for place of supply. So 10 is place of supply of goods other than supply of goods imported to or exported from India. So that is covered in 11. 11 says place of, just one moment. So 10 is saying place of supply of goods other than importation of goods. And 11 covers place of supply of goods imported into or exported into India. So 10 is for domestic goods, 11 is for imported goods and exported goods. So 11 is not there in your syllabus. So 11 we are not reading. 12 and 13 is place of supply of services. 12 is for place of supply when the location of supplier and place of supply is in India. And 13 is for place of supply of services where the location of supplier or place of supply, one of them is outside India. So for us in our inter, we have place of supply of goods and place of supply of services for only domestic transactions. That is where the location of supplier and place of supply is in India. Okay. If it is outside India, आपको final में मिलेंगे. Okay, some more questions. Installation charges are included in price of goods. So why separate provision for supply of installation services? Installation charges are included in price of goods, but if it is a separate charge, right? Because sometimes when you buy air conditioner, you will get charged separately for the installation. So it is generally not included in the price of goods. It is charged extra. That's where that marginal scheme comes in. In section 10.1c and 10.1d, the bill to ship to scenario is checked. 10.1c and 10.1d. So 10.1c and 10.1d are different scenarios because there it is always where the goods are delivered itself. So there bill to ship to transaction generally wouldn't occur it because it is generally the site itself. In 10.1e may extra items used in between transfer to original goods. 10a apply to main goods. 10.1e is separate from 10.1a. So extra items used in between, matlab whatever you will sell on board, it will be at the place where you're boarding itself. Can't be anything else. Supplier and dealer both are in Mumbai. Okay. And the installation services provided in the state of Goa, then IGST will be charged. You're right. Sir, if installation is made on direction of third person, then bill to ship to model apply or no? No, in that case, bill to ship to will not come because installation, as Mr. Avinash was saying, 10.1c and 10d is checked for bill to ship to transaction. Let it come from anybody in installation services where you are installing. That is the place of supply. So if it is not possible to determine the place of supply, that time what to do? Okay. So where you are not able to determine, 10 says where the place of supply of goods cannot be determined, the place of supply shall be determined in such manner as may be prescribed. So there is a rule, specific rule which says that what is to be done in such case. So that will be decided according to the rule. Give example of 10.1e again. 10.1e is agar aap train mein safar kar rahe ho. Okay, who's the question? CRO. Okay, so I can answer in Hindi. When the goods, अगर आप ट्रेन में सफर कर रहे हो, ठीक है, ट्रेन में आप जब सफर करते हो आपको जैसे लेस चिप्स मिलता है जनरली, लेस चिप्स मिलता है या फैंटा की बॉटल मिलती है। अब वो ट्रेन में तो बनता नहीं है, कहीं और बनता है, कोई और बन के जो ट्रेडर है वो ट्रेडर देगा ट्रेन वालों को और ट्रेन वाले बेचते हैं। करेक्ट। तो ट्रेन वाले, अगर ट्रेन आपकी है दिल्ली से कलकत्ता, तो आपने कंज्यूम किया दिल्ली से कलकत्ता, समझिए बीच में कुछ और सिटी आता है, दिल्ली से कलकत्ता जाते हैं तब समझिए उड़ीसा आ जाता है। अज्यूम कीजिए, मेरे को रूट पता नहीं है, लेकिन उड़ीसा में आप कंज्यूम करोगे तो उड़ीसा स्टेट बोलेगा कि ये कंजम्पशन मेरे स्टेट में था और सर ने कहा है कि कंजम्पशन बेस्ड टैक्स है, तो फिर उड़ीसा को जाना चाहिए। लेकिन ये कंफ्यूजन हो जाएगा कि एक एक प्रोडक्ट को हम कहाँ कहाँ कौन से स्टेट में कंज्यूम है कौन रिकॉर्ड रखेगा। इसीलिए रूल्स बनाए गए हैं ताकि पता चले कि फेल कहाँ पे हुआ है। तो जो दिल्ली से चली थी ट्रेन, वहां पे ही आपने चढ़ा दिया था ये आपके लेज और फैंटा को, तो दिल्ली ही प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई हो जाएगा। और लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लाई, अगर दिल्ली वाला सप्लाई कर रहा है तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर दिल्ली, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई दिल्ली, सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी चार्ज करेगा। अगर एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर है जो बैठा है महाराष्ट्र में लेकिन सभी ट्रेन को सप्लाई करता है, तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर है महाराष्ट्र, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है दिल्ली। ठीक है, ना तो उड़ीसा बीच में आएगा ना तो कोलकाता बीच में आएगा। समझे? ओके, सेक्शन 12 के पहले ब्रेक। ठीक है, सो बिफोर स्टार्टिंग सेक्शन 12 विल टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 5 मिनट्स, 5 to 5 मिनट। ठीक है, 5 मिनट्स का ब्रेक लेते हैं। 7:25 विल असेंबल बैक। Thank you. So everybody are back. So let us dive into the place of supply of services. We understood the background, why we are reading 10 and then jumping to 12 and leaving off section 11. 11 and 13, your friends will come back in your final exams. So they will not betray you. Okay. Oh, good. So we understood place of supply of goods. 5 rules. Generally, goods is simple, so no worries. Now, place of supply of services we have to understand. For place of supply of goods, the location of supplier is very easy because it is goods. So we know that goods will be from where it starts its journey. Okay, that will be the location of supplier for goods. But for services, it is very, very, I would say, subjective. Why? Because for services, there are various connections or various things which are involved, like it's called as proxies, like the various trigger points for determining the place of supply. One is the location of service provider, because the service provider can be from any place. The location of service receiver keep moving. The place of performance can happen any place. The consumption can happen in one state, multiple state, where the location of service receiver is there is different, where the consumption is there, that is different. The actual beneficiary will be somebody else. In software services, when you provide software, the user will be somebody, the payer will be somebody. To make this little interesting, I'll tell you an anecdote what happened. While I was traveling in a train journey from Karnataka to Hyderabad. It was an overnight journey. While we were traveling, it was not too late. We started our journey at 6 p.m. While we were traveling, there was another businessman who was sitting next to me, and we were just chatting. While we were discussing, he said, "Sir, I'm having some lot of issues in Hyderabad for GST matter. Since you are in GST, can I ask you some questions?" Okay, he asked some questions. So after that, we have to sleep. While he was asking the question became very interesting, and I had to give him a oral opinion, which was very, very important for him. Oh, thank you very much, sir. You have given me this suggestion. With this suggestion, I can actually implement it for my business in Delhi, because his business was in Delhi. So it is very, very important, sir, that you gave me this option. So I would like you to raise a bill for me, because even I don't want to take any free service. So you can raise an invoice for me. So I told him, okay, doesn't matter, but if this was useful to you, I will raise an invoice. So while we were discussing that, between Bangalore to Hyderabad, in between Tamil Nadu also passes by. So when I gave him the opinion, the train was stopping at Tamil Nadu. So then I got confused. If I have to raise an invoice to him, he is there in Delhi. Now he is going to Hyderabad, but I have to raise a bill to his Delhi address. Now opinion is given in Tamil Nadu, but the train is going to Hyderabad. So what is the place of supply? Should I raise CGST, SGST itself and close it so that my Karnataka government will be happy? Or then if I raise that invoice, he will become unhappy saying that, sir, I cannot claim the credit. A lot of intricacies, right? So from this, we understand that the place of supply for services is not, it can't be like any goods consumed on board. So since I have onboarded in Karnataka, that will become the place of supply. Not possible, right? Because I can give opinion anywhere on the go. While sitting in that train itself, I will use my laptop and give an opinion to somebody else. So a lot of things happen in services because the proximity of services, various criterias are there. So it is not one criteria which is relevant. So there are multiple places. That's why the place of supply for services also is elaborate. 5 rules for goods, sub rules 10(1)(a), B, C, D, E. For services, 12.1 to 12.14. 14 rules are there for services. Okay, so that's why it is very important that services are dealt in detail. Before that, definition of recipient of service. As I said, important definitions will cover. One is this definition of recipient of service. The recipient of service is where the supply is received at the place of business for which registration is obtained, then the location of such place of business. So if I'm providing, not from the supplier's perspective, we are only discussing from the recipient's perspective, because this definition will be used in various places. Location of recipient of service. So when we say location of recipient of service, what does it mean? If the supply is received at a place of business, okay, for which registration is obtained, then the location of such place of business. Where a supply is received at a fixed establishment elsewhere, not for a business for which registration is obtained, for some other place where there is a fixed establishment, then the location of such fixed establishment. And if it is at more than one establishment, whether place of business or fixed establishment, then the location of the establishment which is most directly concerned with the receipt of supply. Again, theoretical, we will not understand. So example, where I am supplying to a person who is registered and he is using it for that place, then the place of business for which registration is obtained, the supply is received at the place of business for which registration is obtained, then the location of such place of business. Okay, the location of such place of business will be the location of the recipient. Simple. I am providing some services of chartered accountancy to a client, and client is registered in Tamil Nadu. He is taking opinion for his Tamil Nadu unit. He does not have any branches. So place of supply will be Tamil Nadu. Now that is example case 1. Case 2 is Tamil Nadu person is also having a establishment in Mysore. Okay. For the Mysore plant, there is some investigation going on. He is taking it for this, which is a fixed establishment elsewhere other than his Tamil Nadu branch. So he's having a fixed establishment. Fixed establishment is also defined a place where there is a permanency of employment or permanency of business structure. So if there is some fixed establishment, say in Mysore, then the location of such fixed establishment. So if I'm providing some services to Mysore branch, then the Mysore branch will become the fixed establishment. Okay, so that case, the location of recipient will be Mysore. And if I'm providing one opinion for both the branches, then the location of the establishment which is most directly concerned. In this case, it could be that it is most directly concerned could be Chennai, because Chennai is involved more into it because they have to make a decision. So for each kind of service, it can vary. Where there is one branch, no problem. If there are multiple locations, then if it's a fixed establishment elsewhere and it is pertaining specifically to such fixed establishment, then the second criteria will apply, where the location of such fixed establishment will be the location of recipient. And if it is more than one establishment, then the establishment which is directly concerned with such supply of service, that will be the location of recipient. If in the absence of such place, if none of these places arise and this person is only taking online opinion, is only operating from home, then the usual place of residence of the recipient, okay, that will become the place of supply. So with this, we know who is the recipient. Okay, you didn't understand this. What I'm trying to say is, again, WRO. So WRO, I can explain in Hindi. अभी लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट का डेफिनेशन क्या बताता है कि रेसिपिएंट कौन है, इसका रेलेवेंस क्या है, क्योंकि हम देखेंगे जब हम प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज डिस्कस करेंगे, देन एंड रिजल्ट आ जाएगा कि लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विस ही प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है. तो लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विस का मतलब क्या है? अगर रिसीवर रजिस्टर्ड है तो उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन एड्रेस जहां पे वो है लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट. अगर उसका एक और ब्रांच या एक और एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है, या ब्रांच हो सकता है, गोडाउन हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, विच इज कॉल्ड एज फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट, जो फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है। ऐसा नहीं कि टेम्पररी टेंट डाल दिया है या टेम्पररी एक प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिस डाल दिया है जो एक महीने के लिए रहेगा, दूसरे महीने के नहीं रहेगा, उसे फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट नहीं कहेंगे। जो परमानेंट स्ट्रक्चर है विथ सम मैन पावर इन्वॉल्व इन, उसको फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट कहेंगे। जहां पर फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है, तो वो अगर उस फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट के लिए हम कुछ ओपिनियन दे रहे हैं, तो फिर वो हो जाएगा लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। तो फर्स्ट, तो जहां पे रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया हुआ है। सेकेंड, अगर किसी फिक्स्ड एस्टैब्लिशमेंट जो मेन रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया है उसके अलावा कोई और जगह है और उसके लिए अगर कुछ सर्विस ले रहा है, तो वो हो जाएगा लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। या फिर दो तीन जगह के लिए कंसोलिडेटेड सर्विस ले रहा है, जैसे किसी आर्किटेक्ट को एम्प्लॉय किया, आर्किटेक्ट अब दो तीन ब्रांचेस के लिए कर रहा है लेकिन बिल एक ही जगह दे रहा है, तो फिर लोकेशन ऑफ द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट विच इज मोस्ट डायरेक्टली कंसर्न, वो हो जाएगा लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। तो अगर आर्किटेक्ट दे रहा है वो बिल, वो तो दे रहा है मल्टीपल ब्रांचेस के लिए, लेकिन उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कौन दे रहा है? जो हेड ऑफिस है वही दे रहा है। तो हेड ऑफिस इज द मोस्ट डायरेक्टली कंसर्न विद द रिसिप्ट ऑफ सर्विस, क्योंकि ब्रांच को तो कुछ लेने दें, जो हेड ऑफिस कहता है उसको वही करना है। तो हेड ऑफिस हो जाएगा द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट विच इज मोस्ट डायरेक्टली कंसर्न, तो वो हो जाएगा लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। तो लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट का डेफिनेशन को हमने ब्रेक किया है। अगर इन तीनों में कुछ नहीं है, जैसे बंदा की कोई रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है और उसका कोई फिक्स्ड एस्टेब्लिशमेंट भी नहीं है, वो फ्रीलांसर है, कहीं से भी काम करता है, तो फिर उसका प्लेस ऑफ लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट क्या रहेगा? उसका यूजुअल प्लेस ऑफ रेसिडेंस, उसका रेसिडेंस एड्रेस कहाँ पे है, वो हो जाएगा उसका लोकेशन ऑफ रिसिपिएंट। ठीक है? Does establishment means branch? Yes. If it's a fixed branch, then it means an establishment. So if the recipient is registered in Karnataka, then automatically it won't go to Karnataka government. Didn't understand your question, Nina. It is not necessary that it has to go to the Karnataka government. You will decide as a supplier which is the place of supply. The place of supply is decided by the supplier because he has to raise an invoice. So if he's supplying it to a person who's registered in Karnataka and the place of supply is in some other state, then once we read the rules, you'll get to know that it is not always that a person who's registered in Karnataka, that is his place of supply. It can be different place of supply also. Okay. Now I will take up all your questions after the end of this discussion, because then we'll be breaking the flow. So whatever questions you have, please note it down. We will take all your questions at the end, but please note down your questions. The place of supply of service, where the location of supplier and recipient is in India. 12 says the place of supply of service where the location of supplier and recipient, both, not one, where the location of supplier and the location of recipient. That's where the definition is there. If the location, like how the location of receiver is there, similarly, location of supplier of service is also there. Where you have fixed establishment, where you're registered, that becomes the place of supply. So where this both the supplier, the location of the supplier and the location of receiver is there, then you will get into 12. If the location of supplier is here and the location of receiver is outside India, then 12 ke under itself we will not enter. We will not enter 12 at all. We will go to 13. What, even if I do any domestic supplies, still, even if the location of the recipient is outside India, then you will not enter 12, you will go to 13, section 13 of the IGST Act. And even in a reverse scenario where the location of supplier is outside India and location of recipient is in India, you will still go to 13. 12 is very, very restrictive, clear-cut demarcation between section 12 and section 13. 12 says where the place of supply of services, to determine the place of supply of services where the location of supplier and the location of recipient is in India, then we'll go to 12. The provisions of this section 12.1 says the provisions of this section shall apply to determine the place of supply of services when where the location of supplier of services and the location of recipient of services is in India. Okay. Now, India, we know India includes Jammu and Kashmir also because of the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Bill. GST Act applies to Jammu and Kashmir also. So Section 12 are all in relation to domestic supply of services. Section 12 are in relation to supply of service of foreign services. That's a mistake here. So Section 13 are in relation to supply of services outside India. Okay. Now 12.1 gives you the criteria to entry. So it's a barricade saying that if your place, location of supplier and location of receiver is in India, then you come inside 12. Otherwise, the gate is closed. Please go to Section 13. Okay, so we know the path now. So once we have entered 12, 12.1 we have crossed. Now let's go to 12.2. 12.2 says that start from here, you have entered, welcome. Now, if you are falling under 12.3 to 12.14, yeah, are you falling? Are any of these clauses, because there are 3 to 14. Okay, so if you are falling in any of these clauses from 3 to 14, okay, any of these 12 clauses from 3 to 14, is any of these clauses applicable? Yes, then apply that relevant rule. No, then come to me. So 12.1 say enter hi ho gayi. Now 12.2 is saying before getting into 12.2 also there is a gate. Go and see whether you are falling in any of those criteria under 12.3 to 12.14. If you are falling it, then go under that. Don't come to me. If you're saying no, 12.3 is not applicable, 12.4 is not applicable, 12.5 is not applicable, then come to me. So 12.2 is basically a last rule of last resort. Matlab 12.3 se 12.14, if nothing is applicable, then you come under 12.2, else go. So 12.1 you came, entry, gate open, 12.2, 12.2 is closed, go to 12.3. So we'll read 12.3 and 12.4 and then again we'll come to 12.2 so that we will understand this clearly. Okay. Now 12.3, because services, as I said, is very, very lucrative and very, very subjective. So there are various provisions. Once we check, actually also we have to check whether we are getting applied under 12.3 to 12.14. If all of this is applicable, then we have to get into those specific services, because 12.3 to 12.14 is specific clauses. जब specific clauses है, go into it. If specific is not applicable, then we go to the general rule. So फिर 12.2 का placement 12.14 के बाद होना चाहिए logically, but for the wisdom of the lawmakers, they have mentioned it as a general rule in 12.2 itself, and they've already given the path that go to 12.3 and 12.14. If not, then come to me. So it's fine. Now we'll go to the specific clauses. 12.3 says where a service is in relation to an immovable property or lodging accommodation in a hotel, boat, or vessel, then I will tell you what is the place of supply. So 12.3, open the door. Are you doing any kind of services in relation to immovable property? No, go to 12.4. Or is it yes, in relation to immovable properties, there are any kind of lodging accommodation, then come inside. I will tell you what is the place of supply. Okay, imagine this, that how the flow works. It works in such a way that 12.3 to 12.14, one by one you have to see, apply it, else go back to 12.2. So 12.3 says, welcome to people who are providing any services in relation to immovable property or providing any lodging accommodation. Okay. Yes, I'm providing this, come inside. If you're providing any of these, wherein supply of services relating to immovable property or any kind of a lodging accommodation in a hotel, boat, vessel, or accommodation in an immovable property for social, business, religious, or cultural functions. Then, if your location of immovable property, if you are providing services in relation to immovable property, what kind of services I'll provide? Any kind of services which is explained in next slide. Services which are directly in relation to immovable property, which is first immovable property aata hai, so what do we think? Rental. So rental will definitely get covered here. So any kind of rental services, any kind of architects or interior decorator services, because They are providing services in relation to doing architectural services for a property or an interior decorator in relation to that property, then this will get covered. Or any kind of surveyors, engineers, estate agents, brokers in relation to a property, they will come fall under this. Or grant of rights to use immovable property or for carrying out or coordination of construction work. Those people will fall under this. Lodging, होटल स्टे, होटल इन, गेस्ट हाउस, होम स्टे, एयरबीएनबी में बुकिंग करते हैं, हाउसिंग booking.com, then lot of various make my trip, lot of things we book. All of those booking, what we do is all lodging accommodation services, club or campsite by whatever name called, including houseboat. Even though houseboat is boat is moving, but there is some starting point for it, no? So that is all of that is lodging services. All kind of lodging accommodation provided in any of these things will get covered over here. Then accommodation in immovable property for organizing. Accommodation in immovable property for organizing any kind of marriage, reception, or any kind of official, social, cultural, religious ceremony or business function, including services provided in relation to such function. So any kind of function which you're doing, marriage, cultural, social, at a place, at a location, this will all fall under 12(3). Are any services ancillary to the services referred to in this clauses? Matlab, you are taking architectural services and any ancillary services. From architect, you are taking architectural services and some small other services also. Okay, then that will also get covered over here. That will be a composite supply. So any main service and any sub services, all of that will be falling under this. So we know that this service is primarily in relation to immovable property. Accommodation also is in relation to a fixed place, and any kind of architectural services, agents, rental, all in relation to immovable property. So 12(3) is immobile property services. If I'm providing any of those specified services and such immobile property is in India, then the place of supply is location of such immobile property, boat or vessel. If it is in India, then that location where it is there is the place of supply. Okay, so I am registered in Karnataka. I am traveling to Delhi for a conference. Delhi, I'm booking a hotel. Okay, location first to enter this is location of supplier and location of receiver. Location of supplier is that hotel fellow. He is in India. Location of receiver, I am also in India. We are coming into 12, right? General rule, I will not go. I have to go to specific rule. There is a specific rule of 12(3). So I'm getting into 12(3). The location of supplier is the person who is registered. Now he is registered there in Delhi. So location of supplier is in Delhi. Place of supply, I am registered in Karnataka. So will this become my place? No. This says the place of supply is location of such immobile property. Where the hotel is located in Delhi. So the place of supply is Delhi itself. So even though a person from Karnataka goes to Delhi, the Delhi person will charge for him. It is an intra-state supply because the location of supplier and the place of supply is in Delhi. Place of supply is deciding here. This rule decides the place of supply. This rule is saying that if you are providing any kind of a hotel, then the place of supply is the location where your hotel is situated. So Delhi ka hotel wala will always charge CGST, SGST because location of supplier and place of supply are in the same state. If both are in the same state, it is an intra-state supply. He will charge CGST and SGST. तो मैं कर्नाटका से जा रहा हूँ, उसका क्रेडिट ले सकता हूँ. I cannot take the credit because he will charge CGST and SGST in that state. Now, if that location itself is outside India, then it is the location of the recipient. Okay. Now, what is the example for this? An architect who is rendering services. An architect is in, again, Delhi. I am a customer. I am in Karnataka. Okay. I am not going to Delhi, neither he is coming to me. We are talking about the phone itself. Boss, you have to do architectural services for my property in Australia. Okay. Location of supplier and location of recipient is in India, right? So we have to come under 12 itself. We can't go to 13 just because my property is outside India. I cannot go to 13. 13 says where the location of supplier or place of supplier, location of supplier or location of recipient if it's outside India. In this case, both are in India, correct? Both are in India. Delhi is in India, Karnataka is in India. Since both are in India, but the location of immobile property is outside India, 12.3 says don't go there, come here. Place of supply is location of recipient. Since I am in Karnataka, the location of supplier is Delhi, the architect is in Delhi, place of supply is Karnataka, not outside India. Don't tell that as an export. The place of supply is India. So he will charge me IGST, location of supplier and place of supply in two different states. He will charge me IGST. Okay. Just because immobile property is outside India doesn't mean you're coming out of the rule. You'll still fall under this rule because this rule is airtight. Okay, watertight. It is saying that if both of you are in India, we will determine the place of supply for you. Don't worry. Okay. Is it rule? This is subsection itself. I'm calling it as a rule because they're determining the rules. It's a subsection itself, section 12, subsection 3. Clear now? So in case of immobile property, we do this. Services in relation to immobile property. Instances where immobile property board is located in more than one state. Then what happens? Are proportion of the value of service determined in terms of the contract or agreement? Yes. So in case we understood कि immobile property जहाँ पे है, now there can be instances where the immobile property is located in more than one state. कर्नाटका और तमिलनाडु के बीच में एक बॉर्डर स्टेट है कॉल्ड होसूर और मेरा होटल जो है एग्जैक्टली बॉर्डर पे है हाफ प्रॉपर्टी जो है तमिलनाडु के साइड है हाफ प्रॉपर्टी कर्नाटक के साइड है देन if the proportion then what state it will be the place of supply will be what state proportion to the value of service determined in terms of the contract based on the contract you will determine it in the contract you have said that for Karnataka is this much Tamil Nadu is this much that much. If there is no contract or agreement saying we don't want to get into contract for this or we didn't anticipate this, then what happens? Rule 4 comes to your rescue and says that follow the rule 4. Rule 4 says where lodging is in a property located in multi-states. Apna example where the property is half in Tamil Nadu, half in Karnataka, then number of nights stayed in each property. If my example will not fit this, this is a case where a group of hotels, Taj group of hotels, has a property in Tamil Nadu and has some property in Karnataka. I'm staying at both the places and now they're charging me a single bill. In that case, how many nights I stayed in Tamil Nadu and how many nights I stayed in Karnataka, that will decide the place of supply for these two states. My first example will come in the second case where accommodation is in immobile property for organizing events or lodging where property is located in two contiguous states. Contiguous state means states which has common borders. Okay. In that case, area of immobile property lying in each state. How much square feet is in Tamil Nadu? How much square feet in Karnataka? On that proportion, place of supply will be determined. Those two states don't fight. Okay. Or a case where some property is there in like a lodging facilities, sometimes here, sometimes there. In that case, how much is the immobile property lying in each state? That will be deciding factor. Okay. Then third case is lodging in a houseboat or vessel. Okay. Where you take a cruise service, you start from coastal states, you start from say Kerala, then the ship goes to Tamil Nadu, takes a U-turn and then comes back to Kerala. 3 days are over, you have come back to Kerala. But Tamil Nadu saw that by the binocular that there was some ship coming and they have stayed here overnight. then they've gone because cruise has to stay somewhere. So it stayed in Tamil Nadu waters, then it went back to Kerala. Then Tamil Nadu will still pay me also taxes. In that case, the time spent on the vessel in each state, exact time basis, because the detail of that will be available with the cruise owner, saying that we have gone 12 hours in Tamil Nadu and 18 hours in Kerala. You guys don't know, you were sleeping, but I know that when I went to Tamil Nadu, when I went to Kerala. So service provider itself will have that log. So based on the declaration made by the service provider, place of supply will be Tamil Nadu, place of supply will be Kerala. Okay. First example, again, number of nights stayed is where there is a consolidated charge for a stay in 2 to 3 cities, then on number of nights stayed in each property. This is what the rule is saying, right? And in case of area of immovable property lying in each estate, I gave you an example that we am staying in a border state, or it could be that there are some property I am having in border states. In after this Telangana, some states are in Telangana and some states, some places in Andhra Pradesh, but they have a common capital also. So it's very confusing. So Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are so very close that they are different states, but they don't look so. So if I'm having a site at various places and I'm having a JCB to do leveling of this sites. So I've told you go to both the places and do site leveling at both the places. And he has given me one bill totally. So then that site excavation fellow, so for him, the place of supply will be how much square feet is in Telangana and how much square feet is in Andhra Pradesh. Based on that, the place of supply will be divided. Clear? So that is in relation to 12.3 services in relation to immovable property. Then restaurant and catering services. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty, and health services. So 12.3 you went, you are not doing any more property, come to 12.14. Oh, you're a beauty parlor, come inside. 12.14 is for you. You are a hotelier, come inside. 12.4. 12.4 says the place of supply of restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery, is the location with services in where such services are actually performed. Okay, so where the services are actually performed. If the restaurant services is providing catering from, again, I will go to South examples because I'm here and I'm very much concerned that I should not use wrong examples. That's why I'll use this South examples itself. Please bear with me. From Karnataka, a hotelier is supplying catering services. Okay, because it says where the services are actually performed. So catering, I will tell from another state, Tamil Nadu likes my hotel taste. Come to my state and give food to me, catering to me. So I will go to Tamil Nadu and do the catering there. So even though I am in Karnataka, the actual performance is happening in Tamil Nadu. So the place of supply is in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Another example could be this famous film stars. They have specific makeup artists who come to the location and do the makeup. So when they come to a place in Uttarakhand where my movie is getting shooted, the place of supply is in Uttarakhand itself. Okay. So that is the place of supply for these specific services where it is actually being performed. Then training and performance appraisal services. There, all these services look separate, but the place of supply is different. In training and performance appraisal services, they've said the place of supply of services in relation to training and performance appraisals depends on whether it is B2B and B2C. That's why we had a discussion on what is B2B and B2C. So when you are providing it to B2B, okay, then the place of supply is different. If you're providing to B2C, then the place of supply is different. If it is a B2B supply, then the place of supply is the location of such person. Okay. And if it is B2C, is the place of supply is the place where the service is actually performed. The place of supply is appraisal. So what is the service you're doing? You're doing some training services or performance appraisal services. If we are providing this training services to a registered person, even though you are providing a training in Goa to a company in Karnataka, the place of supply is not Goa. Okay, mind you, like unlike we said, it is the place where the services are actually performed. That was for restaurant, catering, personal grooming, fitness services. For those specific services, it was where you actually perform. But for training and performance services, if you are providing, you're a trainer, you are gone to a special location. Okay, in Goa, you have gone and performed it. The place of supply will not be Goa. The place of supply will be the location of such person. If the Karnataka company employs me and their registration is in Karnataka, the place of supply is in Karnataka because that's only a place where we are performing the service. But consumption is the benefit is coming to the Karnataka company. So Karnataka company is the place of supply. Okay. And in case of a B2C supply, where this Karnataka company is employed me, but they are not registered in Karnataka. So it's a B2C supply. The place of supply is the place where the services actually performed. In that case, it will be Goa. Same services, but the place of supply will be determined if the recipient is registered or not registered. That is the beauty of the place of supply. Okay, that is the beauty of place of supply, because this will tell me that if I'm making services to a B2B person, then where this B2B is registered is the place of supply. In other cases, it is the receiver. If he's not registered, then where I do that service itself is the place of supply. Then services by way of admission to events. So this is not organizing the events. For organizing the events, we have 12.7, but 12.6 is for admission, entry tickets. तो एंट्री टिकट्स के ऊपर सर्विसेज बाय जो कलेक्शन होता है, द चार्जेस द सर्विस ऑफ एंट्री. Okay, that is what is covered here. The place of supply of following services provided by way of admission to any cultural, sports, IPL, educational fairs होते हैं, scientific entertainment, circus होते हैं, artistic events होते हैं, or services provided by way of admission to amusement park. Okay, big water parks are there, or any other place, or services ancillary to the above mentioned services. Anything in relation to the admission, the place of supply will be the place where the event is actually held, or where the amusement park as such other park is located. Okay, so if I charge some entry ticket for a event of a famous singer, Shreya Ghoshal is coming to have a event in again Goa. Okay, the event company is in Karnataka. Shreya Ghoshal is in Mumbai. Now she is coming and having a show in Goa. So the place of supply, I'm charging entry fees. The place of supply is Goa, not Karnataka, neither Mumbai. Okay, the place is actually where the event is held, or where that actual park is located. Okay, after 12.7, we'll take up questions, because if you guys are silent, I am not understanding if you're understanding or no. So after 12.7, all your questions will be taken up. 12.7 says organization of events, assigning of sponsorship to such event. Okay, where you are organizing an event, then if the recipient is registered, then the location of recipient, like how we have discussed in 12.5. And if event is held in more than one state, okay, so you have event and event management companies there. Now, event management company is organizing an event for you in, let's take a different state now, like which state have we left out? We have left out a state which is of Gujarat. So Gujarat में एक event है, the event organizing company is organizing that event. I am registered in Karnataka. Even if I go there, they can charge me IGST because I am in Karnataka, because I am registered. Since the recipient is registered, location of recipient is the place where I am registered at. Now, if I'm holding two, three places, one in Gujarat, one in Pondicherry, and one in Daman and Diu, the union territory. So different states or different union territories have held. If event is held in more than one state or union territory and the consolidated amount is charged, then the place of supply is deemed to be in each of those respective states in proportion to the value of services determined in terms of the contract. अगर contract है तो कि इस जगह पे रखेगा, then they will divide. 2 days here, 2 days, 2 days Gujarat, 2 days Daman, 2 days Puducherry. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I will divide. The place of supply is in these three places. Okay. In absence of contract, Rule 5 will apply. Rule 5 says that we are organizing an event, or Rule 5 says that based on each of these states. Now, where the recipient is registered, we know the location of recipient. If it is for a recipient who is unregistered, registered के case में समझ में आ गया, but if it is unregistered and the event is in India, okay. In case of registered, there's no bifurcation whether you're registered or the event is in India or outside India. Even if you hold an event outside India, place of supply is the place where I am registered. But for a case where recipient is unregistered, and if the event is in India, location where the event is held, where that event is held, that we know from the previous rules, that's understandable. But where the event is located outside India, where the event itself is outside India and you're providing to an unregistered person, then it will not become an export. Then the location where event is held will not hold good. Then it will become the location of the recipient. For the fun, so if you are having in India, that place, if you are having an event outside India, then the location of recipient. So basically, the government wants to tax everything in India if the location of supplier and location of recipient is in India. Okay, so somehow they will tax this up. So any questions from 12.1 to 12 covered till 12.7? Aisha Patka, 12.5 relates to salary. 12.5 does not relate to salary. Salary service is anyways not taxable, so they will not determine the place of supply for salary. This is for an employee. Some training is being conducted by the company. The charges is not paid by these employees, is paid by the company. Company wants some special soft skills program for its employees. Okay, and it's not holding it at its office place. It is saying that we'll take you for an offsite, and then we'll call a trainer. Now, if that trainer comes to that place, the place of supply will be where I'm registered. If I'm registered, if not, it will be at that place. Aisha, your doubt is clear? Then Srinivasan, can you please put more explanation to the location of such person in the slide before sharing? Location of such person. Like the examples, what I'm saying. So this is to understand the concept. That's why I'm not mentioned the location of such person. Ancillary means anything in relation to. They say admission ho gaya. With admission, there is a fixed charge you have to pay for food. Okay, so main thing is admission. You're not coming only there for food. Food is an ancillary service in addition to this admission. So that's why and the food becomes a ancillary to the admission fees. Sir, in case of an advocate, client from Himachal and services received in Haryana High Court, and the advocate is from Delhi. Okay, so first you should say that advocate is in Delhi and client is in Haryana, and the services are received in Haryana High Court. What is the place of supply? Okay, location of supplier and place of supply. So is it falling again under 12.3 to 12.14? It is not falling. So you will have to go back to 12.2. So 12.2, when we go, that time your question will be relevant. So ask questions only with relation to 12.3 to 12.14. 7, what you have discussed now. Vaishali, your question, your provision will fall under 12.2. Sir, in hotel services, my location of supplier and location of supplier and place of supply are same. So CGST and SGST, but why receiver not get it if he pay GST? So how it works? Very good question. So when anybody travels and stays in a different state, the person who is supplying, he will charge CGST and SGST. We are clear with it, correct? So CGST and SGST is what he will charge. Now, if a person is in Delhi, he will charge Delhi GST and CGST. And I am in Karnataka. Now, in Karnataka, the Delhi SGST cannot be as a credit to me. So CGST the credit आना चाहिए, but the portal is worked in such a way that from some other state to this state, if I am taking any service, I can claim the credit only if it is IGST. This you have to understand how the system practically works. So CGST and SGST of another state cannot be claimed as a credit by another state. Only if a person is in the same state, then the CGST and SGST is creditable. If it is in different state, I can take credit of only IGST. Okay. And if somebody is in this same state charging me CGST and SGST, I can claim the credit. But from another state, I can claim credit of only IGST. Second question is services get through e-commerce operator, then GST paid by e-commerce, then place of supply is the location of hotel. Yeah, still the place of supply is location of hotel. E-commerce company doesn't alter the location of supplier or the place of supply. It doesn't alter. GST e-commerce is only a conduit that instead of supplier paying, e-commerce person is paying. The location of supplier is not getting changing, place of supply is not getting changing. Only it's a intermediary who does transaction between these two. The location of a hotel supply still remains the location of hotel itself. In case of B2C, service of performance means what? Whether it means from where consideration for service is received? No. Actual place where performance is done. Beauty artists, say he's unregistered, and if he goes to some other states and he calls a person to come and do the artist work for him, do the makeup work for him. So that is the place for him, which is the place of supply. If the event in Gujarat and the supplier are receiver, okay, if the event in Gujarat and the supplier and receiver both are in Maharashtra, IGST will apply and the place of supply is Gujarat is covered in 12.7 or 12.6. Okay, so in case of a event, what happens is this is admission of an event and this is organizing of event. Both are different. Okay, if you are doing an event and there is no entry fees, you'll fall under 12.7. If there is an event and you're collecting some entry fees, then you're falling under 12.6. Okay. 12.7 example. 12.7 I said, no, any exhibition which has been organized. Any exhibition which is organized, the organizing company, for him, 12.7 is applicable. When will it apply to 13? When the location of supplier or the place of location of supplier or the location of receiver, one of them is in India and one of them is outside India, then section 13 will apply. 12.7 already explained. Lodging in a property in multiple states means Taj group of hotels has various locations. So I am traveling 2-3 places. So I am taking their lodging services that for all the stays, what I do, I will stay in Taj itself. Now you don't give me one by one bill, you give me a consolidated bill. So that is called lodging in a property in multiple states. When it will be export of service, we'll discuss that. Export of service has various set of rules where the location of supplier and place of supply, location of supply is in India and the place of supply is outside India, then it is an export of service. Okay. So when for service, for goods, it is when you actually send the goods outside India, then it is export. For export of service, Where the location of supplier is in India and the place of supply is outside India, then it is export of service. Coaching classes. Will coaching classes be under 12.5? Yes. Coaching classes will be under 12.5. We have to learn every point. Yes, we have to learn every point. And this is a new addition. So please have special emphasis for this. Sir, the example of Taj Hotel Group, one single bill. So whose is the supplier? Supplier is the Taj Group of hotels itself. And bill issued in two different states. No, if bill is issued from one place, then the place of supply will be different. So they have, suppose in case they have one billing location, key centralized billing here, then the place of supply will be decided. If they give separate bill, then that branch's bill they will give, this branch's bill they will give, that's fine. But in case if they give a consolidated bill, then I'm saying what happens. So they're only giving situations. What happens if a accommodation in immovable property for organizing events or lodging where property is located in two contiguous states, there you'll have to discuss this, or lodging in a property located in multiple states. So if that situation comes, then we apply this. So it's not a rule. It is an exception saying that 12.3 we know immovable property where it is located, but if the billing happens at centralized location, then these are the things what we have to do. Little bit confusion between 12.6 and 12.7. 12.6 is for admission to events. Okay, admission to events and organizing an event is different. So when you have entry fees, 12.6 will come. If you are not having entry fees, but you are organizing events for somebody else, you are into event management company, and a company wants to do promotion of its products in various states. Like when this Gillette razor came, they went to various states and shown people about their Gillette razors. So do you think Gillette would have individually gone? No, they would have told a company saying that we want to promote this product. Go and reach out to all the South states. Go to Tamil Nadu, go to Karnataka, go to Kerala. So when this organizing committee came, they organized events all across India, all across South, at least these three states, and they issued a bill. Okay, and they issued a bill. Gillette had a office in Delhi. So if it is a recipient is registered, then the location of recipient, they will issue the bill. Okay. Now for the same event, if I have to fall it under 12.6, for the special events, they charge some entry fees. Okay. So if they've charged some entry fees, then for that entry fees, the place of supply will be Karnataka separately for that admission amount, Kerala separately for art admission they have received, and for Tamil Nadu, what entry fees they have received. That is 12.6 is each state specific because it's an admission fees. Now, if there is no admission fees and the organizing company is charging something, then for that they will issue a consolidated the location of recipient itself because it is a registered person. If a doctor of Delhi hospital provided services in UP, what will be the place of? First of all, doctor services is healthcare services. Healthcare is exempted. But however, the place of supply, if a doctor of Delhi hospital provides services in UP, the place of supply will be in UP itself. In 12.3, a ship is registered in the state of Delhi, but marriage or reception in that ship occurred in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Then place of supply is in which state? It will be in Tamil Nadu itself because the ship is where it is located. That place. So place of supply tab aayega when there is a charge, when there is a consideration. If there is no consideration, no supply, then place of supply will not come. So if it is a consideration and it is falling under the definition of supply, definition of supply में आपने पढ़ा होगा ना, supply के लिए दो तीन ingredients है. One of the ingredients that it should be with consideration. IPL is an example of 12.7. 12.6 and 12.7 because 12.6 में आपको एंट्री फीस मिलता है. Okay, so the IPL के लिए 12.6 and 12.7 both will apply because entry ticket है आपका, correct? So the BCCI collects the entry charges, उसका revenue उसको जाता है, and IPL का event organizing करने के लिए 12.7. Good example. In 12.7 if recipient is not registered, तो ये slide है ना आपके लिए. If 12.7 if recipient is not registered, then the location where the event is held, or location of recipient where if the event is outside India. By seeing question, can we get to know? By seeing question, we have to find out. You will not get to know. That will be the question saying, find out the place of supply and tell me whether it is CGST and SGST or IGST. So they'll make a question that this was the transaction and the supplier charged IGST. Is it correct or no? So then you will have to explain saying that the location of supplier is this, the place of supply according to section 12, subsection relevant section, or you can say as per section 12 itself, the place of supply is this. So it should be a CGST and SGST transaction. The IGST, what is charged, is wrong. That should be your answer. Or if say it is right, then you still have to give the explanation for it. So how supplier separate this different state tax in his return in the case of 12.3. So if a supplier is, if supplier separate, no, supplier will be one, right? If it is supplier separate, then respective they will charge. If supplier is one, then they will do it, charge IGST for this transaction for one leg, CGST, SGST for another leg. Okay. Now let's move forward. We have less time. We'll cover few more clauses. 12.7. Now 12.8. 12.8 says transportation of goods, including mail or courier. Place of supply of services by way of transportation of goods. So transportation of goods is a service. Goods is thing, but transportation of goods is a service. Service by way of transportation of goods, including by mail or courier, provided to a registered person is the location of such person. So if I do any courier services from one state to another state where I'm not registered at all, but I'm giving my registration number, I'm a registered person, then the person where he is registered, that will be the place of supply. Okay, not the actual movement, because I'm providing the service with respect to your registration number on your instructions. So place of supply will be the location of such person, that is where he is registered. However, where services are provided to an unregistered person, the place of supply is the location at which goods are handed over for their transportation. Okay, so I am unregistered person and I am saying that please transport goods from Rajasthan to Bangalore. I want to get some food items from Rajasthan to Bangalore and I'm handing over the goods, the food. I'm telling my relative that give the goods to this transporter. So he is handing over the goods at Rajasthan. So the place of supply is Rajasthan. Okay, where the goods are getting handed over in case of an unregistered person. If the goods are transported outside India, then the destination of such goods is the place of supply. So only this is an exception here. In all other cases, it becomes the place of recipient, but in case of destination of goods, it will become export. So this is the only exception where if the goods are getting transported outside India, then the destination of such goods is the place of supply. Okay, that is the only exception in all of these things. So 12.8 is if I'm a registered person, I'm doing courier, transportation or anything, then the location of the registration is the place of supply. If to an unregistered person, where the goods are handed over for their transportation. Then 12.9 says passenger transport services. What all this covered? All this kind of train booking, railway booking, bus booking, all of this will covered. Passenger transportation or issue of right to passage for future use and the point of boarding is not known at the time of issue of right to pass. Matlab, I'm giving you a pass which you can use for any period of time. Where the recipient is registered, then again the location of recipient. Where the recipient is unregistered, For passenger transport service, it is separate, and for right to use, it is separate. Where it is passenger transport service, location where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. मतलब जहां से वो चढ़ाई करता है. Okay, so there is a flight ticket from Bangalore to Delhi and another ticket from Delhi to Mumbai. So where the passenger starts the journey from Bangalore, so the place of supply is Bangalore. Even though from here you're booking one more flight from Delhi to Mumbai, but it's a continuous journey, right? You're not staying over there for longer period of time. It's a continuous journey. Then the place where you are starting your conveyance, that is a place of supply. But if the same flight to a person who is registered in Haryana, I will charge him. The place of supply is Haryana, not Bangalore, because he's a registered person. So registration is most crucial in this. If the recipient is registered, the place of place where the location of the recipient. Otherwise, it is place where I'm embarking my journey. Second issue is issue of right to passage for future use, and the point of boarding is not known at the time of passage. If the address of the unregistered person is available in the records, the location of such unregistered person. In all other cases, the location of supplier of service. Okay, passengers transport service with the any transportation ticketing lete hain, it is clear. When you buy flight tickets, they will ask you for your GST. If you give the GST, that will be the place of supply. If you don't give the thing, then from where your journey is starting, that will become the place of supply. So this is relevant from the perspective of the flight company ki what type of GST they have to remit to the government. Okay. Second is if there is an issue of right to passage for future use, one pass they give saying that you can use this pass for 10 journeys. And if they're giving to a registered person, then the place of supply will be the registered person's location. And if they're giving to an unregistered person, they will ask them the address. If they have the address, then where that address, which state that address is there, that is the place of supply. Address lena bhool gaye. Then forgotten to take the address, then the place of supply, I cannot go and locate him and things like that. I've given him the pass, he will come and use it. So in that case, if I don't have the address on record, I don't have a system to collect the addresses, then the location of supplier service where I am providing this service, the supplier where is registered, that itself is the place of supply. Clear? Any questions till now? Embark the conveyance means the place where the journey starts. Correct. Where he is starting the flight, where he is starting the train, where he is starting the bus, from where he is starting his journey. This section also applies for RCM. Yes. So even in case of RCM, we have to determine the location of supplier and place of supply and then pay the RC. A supplier from Delhi sold goods to a consumer in Kerala on board. Say, for example, sale happened while they are in train. In that case, as per 10(1)(e), whether the place of supply is Delhi only so that it is an intrastate supply, just because supply is taken on board, is this possible? Yeah. If it is on board a conveyance, okay, so it will be from the place where the journey embarks. So a supplier from Delhi sold goods to a consumer in Kerala on board. Now, where did the train start from? That you have not mentioned. So where the train starts from, that will be the place of supply. In 12(9), person is registered in UP. Okay, person is registered in UP. And his journey is from Delhi to Mumbai. Then what place of supply is UP itself. Passenger transport में ITC not available. Passenger transport में ITC available है. It is available. No restriction under section 70. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन वेयर यू आर यूजिंग अ व्हीकल फॉर यूजिंग ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, मतलब आपको ट्रेन पे जब आप सफर करते हो, ट्रेन का टिकट पे आपको ऊपर क्रेडिट तो मिलेगा, लेकिन अगर आप कोई व्हीकल ले रहे हो विच आर यूजिंग फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, तो दैट विल नॉट बी अवेलेबल. दिस इज डिफरेंट. Looks like everybody is tired. We had a marathon session, but trust me, this is very important topic. I've tried to give you examples ताकि आप समझ सको, you can understand it. If this had been any kind of not understanding, I've been repeating it. I think this is the maximum repetitions I've done. So please read through this. Tomorrow we will cover this session again in terms of your queries and then the next part of it, because we have to go and reach 12:14 and then we have to discuss something else. We are still stuck with 12:9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 5 more sub clauses to be done, and we have to go to the next topic also. So tomorrow also we'll have a marathon session. Supply chapter notes I'll definitely upload. Mansi, thank you very much. Nagaraju, thank you very much. How will you come to know it is a continuous journey? Will it be mentioned question? Yes, it will be mentioned in question. So if they say from the journey is from state A to state B, then it is single journey. If it say the state A to state B and then B to C, then it's a continuous journey, provided the stay in one place should not be more than a specified number of hours. Continuous journey. I will share my screen so that we are clear with this. Good question. Continuous journey means a journey for which a single or more than one ticket or invoice is issued. So one ticket is issued for the whole journey, either by a single supplier of service or through an agent acting on behalf of more than one supplier. So supplier, one agent doing for multiple suppliers, multiple companies, and which involves no stopover between any of the legs of the journey for which one or more separate tickets are involved. No stopover. Stopover means a place where a passenger can disembark either to transfer to another conveyance or break his journey for a certain period in order to resume it to a later point of time. So only for certain period if he is doing, not like he stays there for 2 days, then he goes. That's not a continuous journey where he embarks for a certain period. So only for some hours if he's doing, then it's a stopover. Stopover karta hai, then it is allowed. Or if he does directly, no stopover directly, then that is also a continuous journey. Well, 9 is railway is example, and purchase ticket in Chennai or destination in Bangalore. Yeah, 12.9 is an example for the ticket what you purchase. Correct. Why services received to a fixed establishment is given? Because if I provide services to a fixed establishment, so when I provide services to a fixed establishment, which is a separate establishment than the registered recipient, then that will become the place of supply. That's where the relevance of fixed establishment. A place where person enters bus, or from where bus starts, from where the person enters the bus, because the section says where the person embarks a journey, from where he embarks, that is the place. Great. Great that your answers, your questions were cleared. ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में एक टूरिज्म का एग्जांपल लेके हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर दो. ओके, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में क्या होता है, जैसे हम एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाते हैं और हम एक एक टिकट खरीदते हैं. ठीक है, जैसे मेरे को यहाँ से अयोध्या जाना है, यहाँ से मैं जाऊंगा बिहार, बिहार से अयोध्या जाऊंगा. तो यहाँ से मैंने टिकट लिया अयोध्या का, लेकिन फ्लाइट वाले ने कह दिया कि आपको अयोध्या के लिए डायरेक्ट नहीं मिलेगा, आपको बिहार जाना पड़ेगा और बिहार से एक और ट्रेन पकड़नी पड़ेगी, 2 ट्रेन पकड़नी पड़ेगी। तो ठीक है, मैं कहता हूँ कि यहाँ से 2 टिकट दे दीजिए। तो मैं तो रजिस्टर्ड नहीं हूँ, तो वो बोलेगा कि आपको 2 टिकट दूंगा, लेकिन आपको स्टॉप ओवर है, आपको 2 घंटे रुकना पड़ेगा। तो ये कंटिन्यूस जर्नी हो गई है। तो सिंस दिस इज अ कंटिन्यूस जर्नी, लोकेशन वेयर द पैसेंजर एम्बार्क्स ऑन द कन्वेंस, तो मैं चढ़ रहा हूँ बैंगलोर से, तो बैंगलोर हो जाएगा मेरा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, ना कि बिहार, ना कि अयोध्या। So please explain 12.8 in Hindi. 12.8 says ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स इंक्लूडिंग मेल और कोरियर। जब भी हम कोरियर करते हैं या जीटीए है, जीटीए के लिए भी लगेगा, क्योंकि ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स बताता है। जो हमने जीटीए डिस्कस किया है उसके लिए प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज डिटरमाइंड बेस्ड ऑन जो पेमेंट कर रहा है उसको। अगर मैं गुड्स कुछ ट्रांसपोर्ट करता हूँ और मैं पे करता हूँ ट्रांसपोर्टर को, ठीक है, तो मेरे को रिवर्स चार्ज पे करना पड़ेगा। तो ट्रांसपोर्टर इज द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर। अगर मैं गुड्स मूव कर रहा हूँ बैंगलोर से दिल्ली, ठीक है, तो 2 एग्जाम्पल, फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, बैंगलोर से दिल्ली ट्रांसपोर्ट करता हूँ, मैं बैंगलोर वाला हूँ जो उसको पेमेंट करता हूँ। तो द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर इज द पर्सन, मेरा लोकेशन नहीं होगा, बिकॉज मैं तो सॉरी सप्लाई करूँ, मैं तो रिसीवर हूँ। तो आरसीएम पे कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर इज ऑलवेज द जीटीए पर्सन इटसेल्फ। तो जीटीए के कंसाइनमेंट नोट पे उसका एड्रेस मिल जाएगा, दैट इज द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर। प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज द, अगर प्रोवाइडेड टू रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, मैं रजिस्टर्ड हूँ, करेक्ट, तो इवन दो द गुड्स आर मूविंग फ्रॉम बैंगलोर टू दिल्ली, द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज, इन दिस केस मैं भी कर्नाटका में हूं, तो मैं आरसीएम पे सीजीएसटी और एसजीएसटी पे करूंगा। ओके, अगर समझ लीजिए आरसीएम के केसेस में हमने देखा, जीटीए के केसेस में हमने देखा है, द रिसीवर इज द पर्सन हु पेज टू द जीटीए। अगर मैं पे करता हूं तो मैं रिसीवर हूं। अगर जो दिल्ली का बंदा है वो बोलता है मैं पे कर दूंगा, आपको पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो दिल्ली वाला जीटीए को पे करेगा। तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर जीटीए का वही है कि वो कर्नाटका का है। प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ सच पर्सन, विच पर्सन, द पर्सन हु इज पेइंग टू द जीटीए। तो दिल्ली वाला अगर जब इसको पे करता है, सो ही इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। सो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर इज इन कर्नाटका, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज इन दिल्ली। तो दिल्ली वाला बंदा जो है वो आरसीएम पे करेगा एज आईजीएसटी, ठीक है। मैं पे करूंगा तो सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी, दिल्ली वाला जो पे करेगा वो हो जाएगा आईजीएसटी एज अ आरसीएम। ओके, जो बहुत लोगों जो क्वेश्चंस था ऑन आरसीएम, आई थिंक दिस एग्जांपल सॉल्व्स इट। व्हाट इफ इट इज नॉट अ कंटिन्यूअस सप्लाई? देन इट्स अ ब्रेकअप ऑफ सप्लाई, मतलब एक एक सप्लाई अलग अलग है, देन ईच सप्लाई यू हैव टू स्टार्ट। और ये सप्लाई के लिए क्या है प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, दूसरे जर्नी के लिए क्या है प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, वो डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा। Correct. So if a train starts from Maharashtra, but a person boards a train from the first place, which what kind of supply are you talking? Because each supply के लिए अलग अलग है, each transaction के लिए अलग है। Aisha, what is the question you want to ask in that respect? If I'm moving from Gujarat to Kolkata, but I have taken ticket from Gujarat to Delhi, and thereafter taking ticket from Delhi to Kolkata, then place of supply. So it's a continuous supply or is it a break? Because as I've seen in the definition, we have seen this. If there is a breakage for some period, then it is a continuous supply. Otherwise, there are two supplies. If bank overdraft is by unregistered person, then place of supply will be bank overdraft. बैंकिंग सर्विसेज 12.3 to 12.14 में तो स्पेसिफिकली इंक्लूड नहीं है, तो 12.2 के अंदर आएगा। जब 12.2 डिस्कस करेंगे योर क्वेश्चन विल बी आंसर्ड, रोहन। 12.2 will be relevant for you because banking services is not specifically covered, right? In 12.8, destination of goods. 12.8, destination of goods. हाँ, if goods are transported outside in the destination of such goods, मतलब if I am supplying, delivering some goods, transportation बता रहा हूँ मैं, ocean freight. I'm giving my goods to this ocean freight कि you take these goods and deliver it to USA. So the destination is USA. So then the place of supply will be USA. So if goods are getting transported outside India, in that case, even though the location of supplier is India and receiver is in India, the place of supply is outside India. On this freight, ocean freight, or I'm paying for outside India, it's an export. I don't have to pay GST on that. Basically, the transporter does not have to charge GST on that. Okay, last 2 minutes. So service through roadways may they didn't ask for registration and give ticket. So place of supply where we take the bus, so ITC available or not. If receiver is from different state and place of supply, तो आपने अगर GST का bill not given your registration number, then आपको credit तो मिलेगा ही नहीं. Place of supply will be the place where the journey starts itself. Okay, from where you have booked the thing, that will be the place of supply. Yeah. In Ayodhya case, if the person takes the other ticket, then it's a breakage of service, then it's a two supplies. Great. So good that you have stayed with me till the end. And whether export has no GST, yes, export has no GST. Export is zero rated, no GST on that. Thank you very much for your patience. I hope we could understand this chapter. Was put a lot of efforts to book this because all my previous topics were all covered in my previous session, but for this topic, I had to put in the presentations, and so I had done a lot of ways to make it simpler and make it understandable. Thank you. Good night. See you tomorrow.